We're going to jumpstart our conversation with a brand that's coming to the fully electric game effectively as a new challenger. This is the Volvo C40, the manufacturer's first dedicated electric vehicle. With a well-established brand like Volvo, there's a level of quality and performance you'd expect, and it's on show here in the C40. The tide is turning. More manufacturers are excited to get into the electric vehicle space and explore where it can take their brand, and most importantly, you. But how does the average punter feel about it? Let's ask Paul, the owner of a Volvo C40.
Really, the reason I wanted an EV is that it's time to move into the EV market. I've been conscious of climate change and working with our youth, and that's a major concern for them. I've got 5 children and 3 grandchildren. I'm really conscious that this is a major issue, and it's certainly been a major issue for, 20, 30 years, 40 years, we started talking about climate change.
You've had your EV for a little while now. What have you noticed that's different about your daily routine?
When I first got it, there was a bit of range anxiety, getting used to the idea of having to be aware of the charge and charging up. It's now just part of the norm. It gets down to 40%, whack it into the 7 kilowatt charger we've got at home. Haven't ever run out of charge. All the technology in the cars will let you know. You put in your destination and it estimates what your battery charge is going to be at the end of that trip and for the return. So you can see it very clearly. I didn't quite understand kilowatt hours until I really got it and was using the car, and it started off at like 23, but that was the car just sorting out its usage and the way I drive.
Yeah.
And it's down to 18.3 now.
Pretty good.
Which is
18's pretty good.
Bad
Yeah.
for 100 Ks.
Was safety high on the consideration set for you?
The Volvo became available. It has a reputation for that. So we felt safe buying it, in both the sense of safety and the reputation that it had. Backed out of a driveway and a car's come behind and it slammed on the brake.
Yep. But what would you say to governments from your experience now as an owner?
Really trying to encourage the uptake of EVs, particularly getting cheaper EVs on the market, and infrastructure up and down the highways, out into country areas, making it accessible, not tucked away somewhere where it's hard to find and you feel a bit isolated. Yep. There's a couple of places I've charged that I wouldn't want to be doing it at midnight.
Volvo's made the jump to electrification before any other major manufacturer in Australia. For then, it's going to happen in 2026. We've seen Emma driving the Volvo C40 around the beaches of Gippsland. Em, what do you think of it on the streets of Sydney?
This is the Volvo C40, and it's the first Volvo model offered solely with electric power. It's also the first Volvo to be completely leather-free. The one that I'm in is the entry-level single motor and packs a 67 kilowatt-hour battery. It's good for 170 kilowatts, 330 newton-meters, and has a 0 to 100 kilometre sprint time of 7.4 seconds. But what you're probably most interested in is how far you'll be able to drive in it. Well, this has a claimed driving range of 434 kilometres. If you're wanting a bit more power, a little bit more kit, and of course it'll cost you a bit more coin, then there is the flagship dual motor. But this has more than enough in the way of standard features. You get things like your wireless charge pad, front and rear heated seats, a power tailgate, and a panoramic glass roof, all standard, and all just make that drive a little bit more pleasant. I already mentioned this is the first step for Volvo into the electric future. It's actually the first of 4 models that will arrive into the Australian market by the end of 2024. Electric models, that is. In case you didn't know, Volvo has committed to axing its petrol-powered vehicles in Australia by 2026. It's quite an ambitious deadline, and that's because it's 4 years ahead of its global deadline.